original background is in technology, actually. That's my original background. I started off as low-level IT guy. I did Linux. I did network engineering, cloud data centers. Then I did, the regular. I did pen testing. Then I started doing developing. And then it's more overseeing solutions architects and developers, okay?
Yeah.
Now, it led me, I built a lot of systems in the past, nothing with AI, but I built systems, oversaw systems being built for very large companies where they have 2,000, 3,000 employees, complex workflows, and so on. So I'll tell you about this company. This company that I need your help with, it's basically also a company that I am owner of. It's a medical company. We service elderly population located in the skilled nursing facility setting. Mm-hmm. So what we do for them is we actually have telehealth providers that do after-hours telehealth. So when all the primary cares leave, the weekends, the holidays, we stay on shift and on call. And we basically take all the calls as they come in for emergent situations, and they will treat the actual patients. Now, what does a call look like in a skilled nursing facility? It's the nurse is on one side. It's not usually the patient. I mean, it's mostly the nurse talking to the provider, right? Yeah. And giving the statement problem briefly. And everyone is always in a hurry over there. It's short-staffed, shift changes. I don't need to tell you. I mean, traveling nurses and all that good stuff. No one has any context about a patient. But anyhow, and then what does the provider do? Now, let me walk you through an actual scenario on screen.
Yeah. By the way, if you're sharing, I don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My apologies.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Which screen is it? Okay, I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now I see it. Yep.
Okay. So first, let me go here. So this system here is called Point Click Care. Point Click Care is 90% of the skilled nursing facilities in the USA and assisted livings utilize this system as their EMR, EHR system.
Yeah.
That's where they document all this stuff. You're familiar with nursing homes a little bit?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yep. Assisted living.
Oh, you are? Okay. So the patient lives there, eats there, drinks, medications, everything happens there, and everything has to be documented in the system. Mm-hmm. So now let me walk you through what gets documented in here. So let's go to clinical. You go to residents, right? You'll go to a patient, and you have all their information, anything from their allergies to their medications, to their dietary, to their diagnosis, to their census, to their allergies, to their immunizations, to their orders, vitals, results, MDS, assessments, progress notes, care plan. And you get everything, the whole slur of things that come in from many different providers, even outside providers that are not working for the skilled nursing facility will have to do their documentation in the system if they treat a patient located in their facility. So if a cardiologist comes to treat their patient in the facility, they will have to upload a note in here, okay? Yeah. So now what is the problem with this? Now this system, the way it's built, it's all free text. So when I say free text is, let's say if a patient over here, as an example, this patient, let's go here. You would expect, if you're looking for immunizations for a patient, you want to see if they're immunized or not, right? Or whatever it is, you would expect to find it in this place, correct?
Yeah.
Well, that would be highly incorrect in the skilled nursing facility environment. So some nurses will, instead of place it in this area, they will decide to go, let's say, to the progress note section, just write a progress note. So it is not something that is reportable or tracked or tagged, as we say. It's a free text. They'll decide to write over here a note that the patient actually had a immunization, right? Or they refused it. That's problem number one. Mm-hmm. It's in the incorrect area.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get tagged. So you can't even search or report or run a metric for it. Problem number two is going to be the different terminology and abbreviations, which we all know that goes on in the medical industry. Everyone writes. Now, let's say we can solve for this. Problem number three will be, let's go to another patient, right? Mm-hmm. Not only will the data be in the incorrect area and not be tagged, it will also not be its own note so that it will be easy. No, they will go ahead and actually place the note somewhere in the middle of a random different note. So let's say they were writing something about the patient was eating X, Y, and Z, or they gave them their medications. Oh, and by the way, their immunization, they also refused their immunization.
Okay. Yeah.
That is a tiered problem. You saw how I explained it right now, right?
Yeah.
Now, none of this data is structured, obviously, as you can imagine. Take a look at it. I mean, it's everyone writes, everyone puts it where they want, and they put it in the middle of storylines of a patient. You know, you have to go fishing through the moon. Yeah. Now, what is the problem with it? So, number one, in reality speaking, since we currently service close to 100,000 patients active on a daily basis, our practice.
Wow.
We have care managers, we have providers, physicians that actually treat patients every single day remotely. So the problem with that is, imagine you're a nurse in a skilled nursing facility and the patient goes into cardiac arrest, right?
Yeah.
Normally, the code status of a patient is supposed to be right here. This is a perfect example. It's supposed to say code status. Why? Because in the event that the patient goes into cardiac arrest, how do we know what we do with this patient? Are we resuscitating them or not? Right?
Yeah.
So, and over here in this patient, it doesn't say it. So you know what that means? The patient's going to lie in the bed We don't know if we are supposed to resuscitate them or not. Let's go start digging in the notes. And the patient's in the middle of dying. Imagine that. That's one scenario. Another scenario. I'm going to run you through a few different scenarios so that you really understand the issue even better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into this. So what did I do because of it? Without any AI, because again, I'm not a master in harnessing and structuring AI, machine learning like that. You know, I can orchestrate a system. I know what I want, but I can't build it. Just being honest. So let's take a look here. Explore dashboard. So what I did is I built a dashboard. What does the dashboard do? It aggregates. We have APIs from this EMR system, right? And it is being ingested in a Postgres database.
Yeah.
All these APIs in a third normal form. I can show you the schema if you want to see it. Happy to do so. Let's take a look how we structured it. Let me just pull that up for you so that you understand the process of it.
Yeah.
And we have extensive documentation, by the way, on every single step of our process, just so you know.
Nice.
So we have extensive, I'm a freak when it comes to documentation. But this is the actual database, third normal form, Postgres. It's in Yugabyte. I don't know if you're familiar with Yugabyte, but this is basically the database. It's highly relational, obviously, as you can imagine, because all the data, and there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of nodes that come in. There's incidents to every single patient, every single day, in every single area of the chart, because did they do their ADLs? Did they go to the bathroom? Did they eat today? Did they talk today? Did they take their medications 5 times a day? We log it 5 times a day. You know, there's a million different things that you log on a patient every single day. So therefore, this data populates, we have to call about 1.5 million API calls, and that's already with webhooks, pagination, everything, just to get the data every single day. It's a tremendous amount of data that comes in every single day, okay?
Yeah.
Now, what did we do? We actually tried to go and to normalize it to a certain extent, again, just the basics, and we do queries, right? We use Metabase as the front end. We connect it to our Postgres database in the back end, and we ran logic. So what kind of logic are we trying to display to the nurses in the facility? That let's say your patient is missing an advance directive. They're already 10 days in the facility, let's say, right? Or 90 days, 45 days, 30 days, whatever the rule and the requirement is for this particular KPI, that this particular patient is overdue. How do we track it? Because every single table has dates, times, log, specific, right? Now, there's another bigger issue than that. You see where it says aligned or not present or not aligned?
Yeah.
Now, here's the issue with aligned. What are we trying to show with aligned? So let me show you. So advanced directive order is basically where the patient has an order from a doctor where they state their code status, whether they want to be resuscitated or not, okay? Now, these two are two different things. There's an order that you place over here in point-click here in the order section, right? You would think it would be normal, nice and organized in a healthcare system, but you know it better than me. You're from Optum. You would know the issues there, that nothing is normalized in healthcare. So you would put in an order over here, but the code status is not correlated, is not linked. So the order and the actual code status and advanced directive have nothing to do with one another. It's just totally separate free text. Everyone can do whatever the heck they want. And it's even worse that a lot of people, when they put an order for an advanced directive, let's say full code, take a look. So you see, this is the code status, an order for code status, full code. You can see it, no direction specified. This dumb person, and you would believe that it doesn't happen that often, but it happens 80% of the time, it's under category other. God knows why, because there is a very specific tag where it says you can put it under order type advanced directive, but no, they do other. So here's the problem. So what we're trying to accomplish here is to reconcile the clinical data that we receive into our database, in our Postgres database, reconcile it, and actually surface the information, because this is so highly unstructured. And this environment will never be able to be solved. It's been like that forever, and you cannot tell nurses that rotate in and out, you have to write like this, you have to do X. It's never worked in the past, and it never will work with doctors, right? So therefore, that's the nature. So what we try to do is we try to reconcile, consolidate, and surface the data for the clinical and administrative team to know, hey, by the way, your patient has an indwelling catheter, and they're not supposed to have it because they don't even have the diagnosis assigned. So if they're missing a diagnosis, why do they have an actual catheter installed, right? We surface this information. Or if they have a catheter installed, do they have an updated care plan, which will ultimately prevent them from going into septic shock or not, right? And they can click on it, and they see this every single day. They click on any of these things over here. And believe me when I say this actually saves patients' lives on a daily basis, you can imagine, right? Because we surface some emergent situations, and you click on it and you see the actual data, right? So that's essentially in a nutshell. Now we have chronic conditions. We have a pattern where, and again, blood pressure and these kind of numbers are easy to populate and figure out a pattern and a story, right? That's not a big deal. It's more the actual written text, not the numbers. But let's say if a patient's blood pressure goes in 2 times a month, or within a period of 30 days, they had an incline or a decline, whatever. If they're diabetic, now this is already logic. If the patient is diabetic, did they have an A1C test? Did we take their sugar or not in the last 30 days? Yes or no, right? There's a lot of logic. Falls. Now, falls is very hard to detect. Why? Because they write it in the progress notes section in the middle of a storyline. So let's say a nurse goes in and gives medication. So they log medication, but they saw the patient fell. They'll write, gave medication, patient fell. You know, what can you do about that, right? So that's a massive issue. Now we have hospitalizations the same way. How many hospitalizations, immunizations, and again, nutrition, patients losing weight, not having updated care plans, polypharmacy. Are they supposed to take medications or not? Do they take contradicting medications? Do you compliant even with the medications, right? These are the kind of things that is difficult. And now you'll understand the rest of all the things that I'll be telling you. But this is the core of the problem, is the data, right? The unstructured, all over the place, in different places, non-tagged, in the middle of storylines, period, end of story. Now, what do we do? And what do I try to accomplish? Number one, obviously, is to be able to take the data that we have in our database, either build another database where it can be housed, where you can structure it and, you know, tag it, do whatever you need to do, medical nerve extraction and classification and all that good stuff, right, on a patient, right? Obviously, that would be a good step. Number one is reconciling, is consolidating, and having that data, the rock of the actual the fundamentals of the actual data should be strong. If that's strong, you can do everything, right? Now, what do I intend on doing with it? I should be able to branch out with my reporting for the facilities. We want to be able to report detecting on sepsis, detecting on, you know, other things. The patient is having X, Y, and Z issues that is developing and creeping up on them quietly throughout the month. Now, if we can detect it early on, right, we can actually prevent another hospitalization. That's number one. Number two, here's our telehealth. So now in the telehealth, right, that's already something that you'll laugh at, that I'm even surfacing it or mentioning it, but I'm anyhow going to do it. It's not because, I need to log in with a different login. 1 second. I need to reset my password maybe. Let me see. Yeah, we have to reset the password. It always happens on a call. It's supposed to go that way. It's fine. I'm used to it. I had it last time I was on a call too. I'm getting used to this. I'm sure everyone has it. So let me reset my password. Fantastic. Okay, no password. Let me just do this. Let me just update it. Okay. Reset password. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Fine. Okay. So let's dive in. This is after hours telehealth. Now, what do we do with it after hours telehealth, right? Let me just go right here. I don't know what happened. It didn't load properly, but it's fine. What the heck? Not found. Okay. Are you kidding me? Okay, there we go. Okay. So dashboard, urgent care dashboard. So this is the platform where the facilities have a tablet at each nursing station, and they call us in about a patient. So they click on the patient's name, actually, and it surfaces and brings up the patient ID from the skilled nursing facility EMR system, right? From this EMR, it brings along the ID and all the necessary information so that you can actually match it and map it up. Keep in mind, our Postgres database, we also keep that same ID. Besides that, we tag our own ID. We actually keep that ID so we can keep the picture and the actual, foreign key and the primary keys actually aligned throughout the database. And a call comes in and it brings up the patient's name. So just so you have an idea, in the last 2 weeks, it says over here that we did a total of 8,700 calls in the middle of the night. We have another system as well, by the way. But just in the last 2 weeks, we did a total of 8,766 patients in the middle of the night that we treated. We spent 61,000 minutes. Wow. And these are live metrics. You can click on it. You can zoom in. You can see the actual data. We tag it. And this is a live dashboard, by the way. As we speak right now, if I go here, I'm going to be able to see right now and in action, take a look. There's a call happening right now. You see it's lit up yellow. That means a new call came in. Wow. A doctor, a provider took it. You see it's highlighted yellow. These guys are on calls. If I click in right now, I'm going to see a live call that is happening between a patient. The facility, you see it went off, it goes on, missed, new, someone is waiting 3 minutes, date, time, you see the patient's name, the ID from the EMR, which facility did the call come from, which state, who took the call, what time did it come in, date and time, who actually responded, what's going on, right? Yeah. Now, this is what we do. So now what happens after that? So number one thing that I want to do is summarization. I want to be able to have a summarized, so when a provider logs in, because he doesn't know intimately well that patient, give me a 5-liner short. What is the patient about? Anything that you think, clinical necessity with reasoning, that I as a primary care should know before I jump on the call right now, right?
Mhm.
Because everything is on the fly. It's not even scheduled. So, oh, by the way, the patient was in the hospital. They had a blood pressure reading 2 days ago, or they had a lab report that was inconsistent or abnormal. You know, these kind of things. A quick summary, a snapshot of the patient quickly. So when they start treating the patient, they already have some context. Oh, maybe that's why they're calling us right now. Let me think about that too. Because that call never takes more than 5 to 7 minutes because everyone is in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you the spiel, as we say, what a call like that looks like.
Mhm.
So a provider, imagine I'm the provider, you're the nurse in the facility, you're calling on behalf of a patient.
Yeah.
You're telling me, okay, I have patient John Doe, not feeling well, whatever it is, his stomach, whatever it is. And what do I do? Now, you as the nurse, you're not going to open up the EMR system and start reading for me his entire chart. What do I do as the provider? How do I know what medications to give, allergies and whatnot? I quickly log in. I also have access to this system, right? To the facility system. And I quickly take a look on allergies. I quickly take a look at, you know, the real necessary items so I don't mistreat or unfortunately give a wrong medication that can send someone to hospital, right? I'll quickly take a glance. Okay, they have these conditions. He has these allergies. This is his medications that he takes on a daily basis. Okay, so, and now I finish, and I don't talk while I look at this because this would be very annoying, right?
Yeah.
So I just, as the provider, look, you're on the other side. Okay, I'm done after 3 minutes, and I'll tell you, okay, so for your patient John Doe in this bed, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you X medication. I'm going to send it to the pharmacy, and let's do a follow-up tomorrow, or whatever the outcome is, right?
Yeah.
That's where it ends. Now, what is the problem with that? That I can't have a proper ambient solution that should scribe for me the call. Why? Because if I would have a scribe, a technology scribe, right? What would it hear? It would listen to a 3-minute call. That's it. And it doesn't have enough context about what the patient is about, what's going on, what is happening with the patient, what is the whole story, right?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, when the call is done, what does the provider do? We have scribes. They're horrible scribes, but they're scribes nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
So what do? So let me tell you what the providers actually go and do. Let's just go to, let's see, completed calls.
Yeah.
Let me just go here and let me filter it, and I'll show you what they do, what the providers do. And they wouldn't have to do it, by the way, if we would have an ambient solution that would work for us. So they go in the section, it's tagged to the patient's name. Remember, everything's tagged, everything with the IDs, and they write something like a very short note. When I say a short note, like bullet points. And what ends up happening is, thank you so much, I appreciate it. What ends up happening is that, oh wow, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Everyone say, what ends up happening is that the scribes, they're already fully trained with their providers. You know, they work with the providers one-on-one. They already know when it's like, you know, your best friend or whoever it is, when they tell you something in 2 sentences, you'll know what they want, what they meant to say, right?
Yeah.
What the scribe then goes and does is they will go log in to this system, grab the short note. They will then go into PCC and grab the items that the provider looked at and reviewed, because we have protocols, right? What you're supposed to do while on the call. They already know, and they will start to scribe up a proper SOAP note with clinical reasoning. So they have to know, oh, they know their doctors intimately well. So they know that the protocol by us is, even though you can't hear it or they don't write it, we know that the protocol is that when you have a neurology, when someone falls, and let's say they're on blood thinners, that we should do X, Y, and Z, right? And they for sure did, because if not, you wouldn't treat them, right?
Yep.
So they will go ahead and extract all the relevant medications and all the relevant diagnoses in the sense, you know, and all the relevant labs and put it on the actual note for the provider into the system. Then, when it's done, the provider goes in there, reviews it in extensive, makes some edits, and then agrees to it or disagrees, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to the coding team. The coding team then goes and does their coding, and then it goes back to the provider. And then the provider agrees or disagrees, and then they lock it, and the note is closed, right?
Yeah.
So the problems with that, I don't have to say. It speaks volumes for itself in the inefficiencies in it.
Yeah.
So we would like to have a AI system, which I know exists, because if you would have a properly structured database, right? And you would have, you know, proper, however you want to set it up, graph, RAG, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
To pull in, it has an ambient solution. It listens to the call.
Yeah.
It already has automatically the PCC ID. We have the data in the same database. It can pull in the relevant necessary information from, even though it wasn't spoken, we all know what the providers do, right?
Yeah.
So again, it has the ID. It knows what the context, what the call was about.
Yeah.
More than the short note even. They wouldn't have to write a short note, because the short note, the call actually lasts 5 to 7 minutes, right?
Right.
So they know why they called for the chief complaint. They know the history because they can pull it in, the present history, yeah? So what is it? Yeah, they can pull it in from where? From our database, because we have this data. And you can structure a proper note. You can do the coding suggestion, and then it goes to the provider. And the provider will then do their edits, review, agree or disagree, and then sign off on the actual note. So what did we accomplish with this? We accomplished a few things. Number one, summarization. It gives context quickly for the provider. Here's what's wrong with your patient.
Yeah.
Before, because you can't prepare for it. It's not like you're scheduling. Number two, it assists with accuracy of a note because it listens to a call, but it's not only it's listening to a call, it has the context about the patient.
Yeah.
So therefore, it can properly scribe code. Now, I would never trust or rely just on AI to do a job regardless. I believe in human in the loop, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
So as we say, especially when it comes to clinical, not that I'm against that, but when it comes to financials, Medicare has a lot of rules and regulations. I don't want to even be close to anything if there was a mistake. So that's why human in the loop is the doctor has to sign off and agree to everything, right?
Okay.
But the AI can summarize it for them. The AI can suggest and put a code, the CPT codes, the ICD-10 codes, the SOAP nodes. It has context from the conversation. It has context from the database. Put it together nicely, have the provider review it and sign off on it. Right?
Yeah.
Now, step number 3 is where I also threw it in a little bit. We have rules in our company that the providers have to and must adhere to, like clinical rules and guidelines. If a patient falls down, you have to do X. If a patient has, let's say, an infection and also had a blood pressure reading from X, Y, Z, this is what you have to do, right? Mm-hmm. Now, my idea behind it was, since you anyhow do summarization in the beginning, it should be almost like a head nod. When I say a head nod, like a reminder for the provider. You're on a call, you hear the conversation, what the complaint is about, and you're picking up that the provider forgets to ask the question. Okay. So you forget to ask the question. And also, by the way, this patient is on blood thinners. You didn't think about it. So you're saying that we should treat the patient and everything is good. But hey, by the way, in the database here, we have stored for this patient that they have a blood thinner. They also have this. Yeah. Make a suggestion. You're anyhow summarizing. Make a suggestion to the provider how we should treat. Right? Yeah. So, and this would help, again, I believe as follows. Humans, treatment, great, but AI is just on steroids. It just has a bigger brain if it's set up properly. Yeah. And it can actually surface hidden data in healthcare that a normal human being would not be able to see or recognize a pattern. Because when I look at a lab, I might not put it together with a medication that they take or with a lab reading or with a different note from a different doctor 3 days ago, because I'm just one human brain with only very short period of minutes that I can work. However, AI does have all the time in the world and has a powerful brain that can actually pick up all the different nuances in the connections that goes on in a patient, in their profile. So that's the idea behind it when it comes to telehealth. Now, very similar to that, where it's not so real time, is care plans, right? Mm-hmm. So we have we do chronic care management, behavioral health integration, we do advanced primary care management, we do a collaborative care model for psychiatric care, we do close to 100,000 patients get treated in our practice here throughout 43 states in the United States in skilled nursing facilities every single day. Wow. Yeah. We're a very large practice. Now, what I always say is doctors can only do the best to what they can do the best, but they can't stuff in so much information all at once because they would freeze up. You can't take a stack of papers and throw it at them. However, now, there's another thing, as you know, like the value-based care programs, let's say chronic care management, let's use an example. The government and the payers only want you to focus on 2 conditions, right? So let's say diabetes and hypertension, blood pressure, right? You only get a maximum of 60 minutes in a month. Now, let's be honest. A patient that is located in a skilled nursing facility, they're usually not there because it's fun. It's because they're actually very sick, right? Yeah. Is it in reality really possible to do a good, solid job to a patient located in a skilled nursing facility where there's so much data being populated on every single day throughout the month to actually pick up on everything? The answer is no, because you only have 60 minutes. Right. It's impossible. However, if AI can suggest and surface that information in the form of a care plan, and then you have a care manager and a nurse that reviews the suggestions from the AI in the actual note and goes and validates it, you have way more information. You can create an actual much better enhanced care plan, right? Right. Because again, I'm a human. I only have 60 days, 60 minutes a month to work on a patient. And in that 60 minutes, I have to stuff in a ton of days, of weeks of information. It's impossible. Yeah. And I can't see in every area. However, AI can. That is the goal. Yeah, I see. That is number 3. And last but not least is obviously the storyline and picking up on trends of a patient. Yeah. By the way, this patient's trending, this, that. But the core of the problem is the database, is the data set, let's call it. Right. The solution is structuring it, and then everything after that falls into place very easy, usually. Yes. I misspoke. Maybe I said very easy, but let's say it is not so complex to get it done. if you have rock solid data structure.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So that's my 2 cents in terms of AI, what I'm looking to set up.
Yeah.
Here's my
that's
problem
super cool.
statement. We have hundreds of providers, physicians, care managers, nurses. We're a very large practice. We're considered the biggest in the skilled nursing facility space in terms of treating for value-based care and preventing hospitalizations. We have the data here that we reduce the average skilled nursing facility before they start with us has throughout the United States anywhere between 22 and 23% hospitalization throughout the month. Once they get started with us, after 6 weeks, it can drop all the way as low as 2% and sometimes even less.
Wow.
So that is the point. That is the point. Just a second. I pop all of the issue and the solution for it. So any questions, comments, concerns, a little bit more knowledge that you want? And again, obviously, as you saw the dashboard.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I guess one question is in terms of the data, or do you ever get any kind of like like handwritten data,
No.
or is it all digital?
So let's put it this way. So in this system, I'm going to show to you something also interesting, because we all know that healthcare really enjoys making everyone's life difficult.
Yeah.
But I will say that 90% of it, so let's take a look, is going to be machine, but not 90, 70%.
Okay.
But then there is the rest of the 30% that this is digital. This is not a problem, right?
Yeah.
However, this comes over as a PDF.
Okay.
And this is how it comes over to us. This is labs. Now, every laboratory has a different system. Some of them will randomly fax it in. Some of them depends on the laboratory. Now, here's another problem. Let's go here. It's loading. Give it a second.
Yeah.
This is such an unsophisticated system, you have no idea. So take a look. Here you go. So unstructured, randomized nodes. There's a miscellaneous section, as if there wasn't enough chaos in the system. Providers, third parties, just upload documents here. There is actually some handwritten notes too. Surprise. Yeah, this is what the problem is with this crap here, unfortunately. But, and it's our job, and it's not our job. It's our primary objective to really reduce hospitalizations. We are super focused on it.
Yeah.
We actually achieve it. We can see it in the numbers. We have trends, reports every single day, how we bring down hospitalizations literally within days and weeks as the facility gets used to our process. The hospitalization just tanks. And it has a great impact on, I don't have to tell you, on quality ratings, star ratings, quality reports, MIPS, HEDIS. I don't need to even start going there.
Yeah.
It affects the family members, the actual patient, less hospitalizations. Imagine we surface to a facility, your patient is on medications they're not supposed to be, because this can cause serious issues and harm to a patient. You have contradicting medication. Your patient has installed guess what? They have an indwelling catheter. Why do they have an indwelling catheter? Why? If they don't have a medical diagnosis, just take it out. Or take a look why they're not diagnosed, because either one is off. Either they have it wrongfully installed because these nurses, there's 3 shifts a day, and it rotates, and they're traveling nurses, and no one has an idea about a patient, just stuck it in the wrong patient. And if no one knows about it, or there's no diagnosis, a doctor will not check it because it's not tracked, and they will develop septic shock. Sepsis and go into shock. Or the opposite way around, where they do have it diagnosed and they don't have it installed. Yet these are just small little examples of things that we constantly track where it actually makes a difference. So that's our problem statement. I'm desperately looking for solutions.
Yeah.
And one of the main things also that I want to say and add, it would be extremely difficult for us to take a commercial LLM and utilize that, because the amount of tokens we would use, you can imagine, in the hundreds of millions. You can imagine on your own. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that when you have 100,000 patients, high volume data populating every single day, every single patient through all data points multiple times a day, that will eke your bank up in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's more something that maybe open source, trained, specific models.
Yeah.
And I learned as well, it's not always the biggest, baddest model. Sometimes it's the smaller, specifically for that job and task, and it's nice and optimized, right?
Right.
Maybe it doesn't have to be in real time. It can be batch processed. There are certain things that we can do to make sure that we don't need to get to the commercial guys and pay hundreds of thousands, if not more than that, on a monthly basis.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I guess what types of medical records do you see the most? Like discharge summaries, lab reports, clinical.
It's everything. We have every single piece of that. We have that entire, whatever you can have in here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Whatever we have here is what I have in my database. So I literally have everything.
I gotcha.
I have a replica.
Yeah.
We received it in JSON blobs, right?
Yeah.
And I'll show you over here. Let me share again my screen so that you can have a visual and understand what we get. So let's go right here. So developer, we are fully integrated. We don't even need to scrape here. We're properly integrated. Take a look. You'll see this is the developer portal on the marketplace. We are in the marketplace. And here's the database, the APIs. So API reference. And there we go. So we have everything from a patient, their payer information, it's whatever you can think of. Wild. We have everything. Episodes of care, external, everything, plus our own data where we treat the patient and we create care plans. Right. And this is our marketplace.
Yep.
And that's basically it. This is the skilled nursing facility EMR.
And is this the only EHR system you work with, like point-click care?
So 90% of the industry in the market utilizes point-click care when it comes to skilled nursing facilities.
Gotcha.
That is 90% of the market. Okay. However, we do have 40 to 50 skilled nursing facilities that use Matrix Sigma Care. I don't know if you heard of them or not. It's only in New York because New York had 10 years ago a grant, something for it. So some people hopped on that train, but 90% are in point-click care. Their engineers can't structure it and normalize it by any means, no matter how much they try. The system is 15 years old. It wasn't built for it. And it's cracking under the pressure, as we say.
Gotcha. I see. What is your error tolerance? Like, like in terms of the, let's say, transcription or...
So I always say quality over speed. If that's the question, it's quality over speed. It's not, I need instant response. I don't need to be fast. As I said, you can summarize the data way in advance of a call happening once a day in the middle of the night. The next time they log in, they see either the summarization from yesterday or today, right? So you can do batch. But I would say if we can get to the 90% minimum, then that would be great. That's why we have something called human in the loop.
Right. Okay. Another question is, how do you want to handle ambiguous cases? So like should the system flag, because sometimes, right, like during the processing, they're
inference,
the inference, it can come at different levels of probability. So do you want to flag things that are like uncertain for human review?
Yeah, so the way I deal with that, I can tell you the way to deal with that. So number one, for me, it's very important to have something called observability, right? And not only that, transparency. I should have the ability to pinpoint exactly where the data came from, a citation, and point, this is why I made this decision. And I can show you an example of that. Would be in this database, I built a concept. I'm not green, as we say, to AI either. My background is heavily in technology, but I will show you what I did with the database in ClickHouse. I did it in ClickHouse just because of the speed once, but we don't use it anymore, really. I use it as a concept right now. I use Yugabyte because Yugabyte also has, by default, they keep the asset controls in the RAG database by default automatically. So it's a Postgres, and when you have the actual vectorization, they keep the same controls, the relationships, isolation of an individual patient to a record in the vector database even. So that's the reason I saw it hidden in their documentation. I called them up to make sure that's the case. Like this, you have even less chance of going wrong, as we say, right?
Yeah.
So let me go right here. 1 second. Let me see. Why can't I see it right now? I don't know. Okay. 1 second. Where's my tables? What the heck happened here? So there is monitoring, service health. Oh, I disconnected it because we migrated away from my MySQL RDS to Yugabyte in the last few days. Let me take a look. Data sources. Oh, there we go. This is the data source. Oh, there we go. Okay, so take a look what I did. Something interesting. So what I did is I took the database and I put in a confidence score. So when a AI returned to me an answer, a response, I have a validator to his response. So someone double checks his response to make sure. So let's say AI agent 1, I'm going to ask him a question. Does this patient have a code status, yes or no, right? So there is a process, let's say, where he goes and looks for that code status in specific areas, right? And I tell him, you can find it in these tables. He surfaces an answer. He gives his AI confidence score. Then comes the quality assurance guy and says, let me double check. Is that true or not, right? And this is how it goes. Next, it goes and it gives you an actual confidence score. And then it gives you the evidence. So take a look. medical terms. Why did we decide to say that this patient does code statuses do not resuscitate? Medical terms, AI evidence, because they had in their table X in this place, they had the word said do not resuscitate with advanced directive somewhere in the text in one of the tables for this particular patient. And the AI reasoning found three probabilities why. So take a look. Found three possible medical indicators. Now here is the actual indicators. Each table with a string attached. Here's where I got my answer from. You see, and here's my peers review. Here's my table sources. Here's the column source. Here's the record source. Here's the optimal. And you can see over here.
Yeah.
And this is why we got to that answer. That's what I did. But we need to. I'm by no means an expert, as we say, when it comes to real sophistication of machine learning, AI, to have it really commercialized and accurate to a level way beyond my levels, right?
Yep.
I'm looking for someone that really understands, and also, and I did this without structuring the database. It was JSON blobs. I didn't tag any of the data. Imagine we have that, how much the confidence and the accuracy goes up, right?
Right. Exactly. Okay, perfect.
So,
yeah. Yep. I understand what you're looking for. Yep. Yeah. That's awesome. I don't think, let me see. Yeah, I don't think I have any
and
other...
I can show you right now the text as well.
Yeah.
Now here's the documents why we called as well. This was the emergent situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do audits where we take a care plan, okay? So let's say every single month, and this is, let's say, one of them. I'll show you on the screen. Let's say we have a care plan, right, for these conditions, blah, 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 for a patient. You know what this is,
Yeah.
So then we have AI go against certain PDFs, right, because it has to be in PDF format.
Mm-hmm.
And we go here, and this is what the PDFs look like. I'll show it to you. Let's go right here. Let's go. I'm gonna try to find it maybe in this window. Maybe it's on the other side. Let me show you what the data looks like in our space. You'll be shocked that how you're not gonna be shocked. You're an Optum, so you know that stuff. I mean, that's nothing for you, but take a look at what this looks like. Let's take a look. So this is what the allergies would look like, right? This is what a care plan would look like from the skilled nursing facility.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that I'm scrolling here and the bottom doesn't move, right? And here, you notice the issues where AI can sometimes start hallucinating. Data initiated, revision on, target date, cancel date. Here's where AI can go wrong, right? It sees so many dates. And if I tell it right now, do me a favor, do a audit against a care plan, what our providers created for specific conditions. Here's the 4 conditions that they created the care plan for. Validate it against all these files. It's going to start hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to start hallucinating out of its freaking mind, right? I don't even need to tell you that. Diagnosis report looks like this. I mean, dates and times and onsets, and you need to have visualization. You can't just do OCR. This is not something that you can OCR. Right? Take a look at it. And then it has radio buttons, yes, no. I mean, this is not easy. This is complex.
Right.
For AI to process this is not easy. Next is going to be immunization is a little bit easier. It's text, but again, it's there's no need to elaborate. And this is not even text. This is like embedded electronic, sometimes, and take a look. This is highly complex.
Yeah.
You see you see this? I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
Take a look where it changes. Everything has a meaning on the bottom. You can see what it means. And look in every single box.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at this. This is another type. And these are all the files that we have to use in order to audit the care plan, because we take data worth of a month of a patient, like their progress notes, their assessments, their labs, their orders, their medications, EMR, MAR, TAR reports, multiple different areas. And this is another format, start dates, end dates, it's really complex.
Yes.
Progress notes is not so difficult because it will only include that particular month. And we can say that it should ignore the left top side, that this always means, let's say, the date when we pulled it, right? Okay. That is not the hard part, but it's the rest of it, which is very difficult. Now, this, not so difficult, but again, the remainder, you see the pattern here, though.
Yeah.
And then there's lab reports. So that's the OCR. OCR is not even the correct word.
Right.
It's extracting visualization agents, keeping the context, the layout, the design of it. Why? Because a date when it's right next to one another can mean 2 very different things. You can't stack, let's say, you can't stack this. You cannot, let's say, stack these dates, because what is this date and what is the next date, right?
Yeah.
Or these dates, onset resolved, because if you just compile it, it will never know that this was the onset and this was the resolved column,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Or even further here, and that's basically
Yeah.
the issue with these files.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. Yeah. Yeah.
This is way beyond me.
I think it's definitely solvable. So yeah,
That's a lot of information that I jammed up in 30 minutes.
Yeah, no,
Probably
but it's
40 minutes.
it's a really cool system, and really cool kind of some of the ideas you have that you can build on top of this is very interesting. Definitely. Yeah.
We do that. We service patients' facilities every single day. And we only want to be better. We want to be the gold standard. And that's why we have calls from facilities every single day for us. But I always feel that we're not providing enough quality data to them. I own Manhattan. This is our company. We do multiple different things for them. We pick up any telehealth call that comes into us, never waits more than 2 minutes. Never.
Wow.
We make sure to address everything. We send reports every single morning. Metrics we have built in that every single provider, when they finish a call, every call gets tagged by us so that the nursing staff can in the morning take a look, or at the end of the month, what are the primary reasons why we are getting called in the middle of the night? What are the emergencies? Cardiology, there's that. Maybe we should bring a cardiologist into the facility during the day, once a month or twice a month. We keep the analytics, we keep the hours, the dates and time when your peaks are, the days of the week, the different types of conditions, the outcomes. Were they treated in-house? Did they go to the hospital or not? So let's take a look. Medication requests, hospitals, outcomes, treated in-house.
Oh, Isaac, I think you stopped sharing for a second.
My apologies.
Yeah, no,
let me share that again. So take a look. So and this is what I'm striving to do.
Yeah.
What I'm doing in telehealth, I want to do that for the data. This is data that we populate. I want to do it for their data so we can help them get better. This is my data where we track every single telehealth call gets tagged with a reason, a clinical reason, an outcome. Were they admitted to the hospital or not? What is the percentage? When during the week, in the middle of the night? When did they call? How quick did we treat the patient? How long does the average call last? How is the average wait time? So we can staff, right, properly. Average call duration. Who are the providers that are having the highest outcomes? We track these metrics, and these are live dashboards. I click in it and will navigate me. I want to be able to do that for the data that we have from the APIs.
Yeah.
And we attempted it, obviously, here, but there's only so far I can take it.
Right.
To the next level.
Right. Because this is at the aggregate level, right?
Yeah, this is what the consumer already sees. They log in, they receive alerts, they take a look. Oh, this patient, they're orange. Then we need to create a care plan for their weight. Why? Because maybe they're malnourished, right? Maybe something's going on. Maybe their diabetes is playing out. There's a million different things that can go wrong.
Right.
And we're telling you, here's the patient, here's the date. We give you everything.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
So
and I agree. It starts with the data. Yeah.
That's the core of the heartbeat of the foundation. If the foundation is not strong, it's not built properly, then none of this matters because it will never be accurate.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a core problem.
Yes.
This is our setup. We have a third normal form, but again, you can take it in JSON. You tell me what you want to do and we will do it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Every single day by EOD. Everything must be documented. Everything. Why? So that other people can jump in and help you when necessary.
Yes.
Or God forbid, if something happens to you, who's going to take care of it?
Right.
So this is how every single table, every single KPI is documented in extensive detail. Everything gets written out, what we're going to do, the meaning of the data, overlappings, SOPs, system documentation, architecture, overview. I mean, if you just sit down and you start reading, you'll probably come out 2-3 hours later with no questions. Maybe you'll want to ask, but we write down the meaning behind what we do as well.
Yeah.
API statuses, everything gets documented. Where does it get ingested? What is the process of it? Data evaluation, AI. We tried using AI, but again, as I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to utilizing AI at the database level, right? And structuring it properly. I don't have enough experience. I'm a young person when it comes to that kind of stuff, but everything is documented.
That's great. Yeah. That's so important.
We map it to the UI. Everything gets documented in extensive detail, workflows, master data management system, how we track the warehouse, the schemas. I mean, there's nothing that you will not find here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a very good team of engineers